And we are live. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? How we doing, guys? How we doing after that one? All right. So we've already got like 43 viewers in here, which is usually we usually don't get this many early on this early. But obviously, we got a lot of stuff to talk about right now. The season is over. That was an garbage game. Um basically the to me it's pretty simple. I You guys know me. I usually don't talk that much about referees. I don't, but that game was a joke. I mean, how obvious are you going to make it that you desperately want the LA team to win? How obvious do you need to make it? How obvious are you going to make it that you want LA to make the Super Bowl and you're trying to make it as easy for them as possible? Um, this defense grinded hard. This whole defense played about as good as you can play. I got nothing negative to say about them. This offense, look, this offensive line grinded hard today. This offensive line went at it hard today. I think DK was winning a lot of his battles against Ramsey. I think he was getting open a lot. I think that the running game at least played okay, which is better than I was expecting because we don't have running backs. They grinded. They did what they could. And at the end of the day, most of my ire is directed towards this officiating, which is a complete joke. Usually, I mean, not that we played perfectly. I mean, my God, we didn't play perfectly. But I mean, the Rams didn't play perfectly either, but they got to get away with it because, yeah. So, in terms of, because you guys know I like to keep it to things that we can actually control. Because as the the Seahawks cannot control the refs. Sometimes that is going to happen. Sometimes that bullcrap is going to occur, and there were some plays where we could have maybe overcome that. And at the end of the day, the only player I'm really mad at is Russell Wilson because that was a crap game. He was mediocre at best when we needed him to be in play at an All-Pro level, and he just sucked. Missed way too many throws, held onto the ball too long a few times. And this revives the former concerns I had about proceeding forward with Russell Wilson. This brings back some of those concerns that I have because we cannot do all this work to rebuild, pull off the rebuild, and then get to the point where we have a Super Bowl roster, and then the we still don't have success because Wilson suddenly isn't very good. Like we really can't afford that. So I mean I've pretty much always I haven't really moved that much from my position of I think Wilson needs to go. I mean today was a day where we needed him to be a superstar and he was average at best. Missed way too many throws. So to me, I want to turn the page on this era. I've seen enough. I've seen enough, and it's just one more obstacle on the road to trying to keep Wilson. Like this was a big game. You need your I understand you don't have Lockett, you don't have Shell. You're missing some stuff. You're down some stuff, but I need my $35 million quarterback to play peak football. I need him to give everything he has to try to overcome those losses, to try to overcome the refs. You need to play at an elite level, and he didn't. He didn't. There's nothing you can say about his game today except he kind of sucked. I don't even know if I'm going to say he's average. And the offensive line, you can't blame the offensive line tonight. They played fine. I saw Metcalf getting open frequently on Ramsey, and Wilson just can't get him the ball. So I'm good. You know, I don't need to be paying $35 million to a quarterback who I don't trust right now. I don't trust him right now, guys. Period. I don't trust that he's going to age well. I don't trust that he's going to be able to adjust his game. I mean, there were several plays in this game. There were several plays in this game where it was third and moderate, and then he just takes a shot play. So that's the only player I'm really upset at. Maybe a little bit of Gabe Jackson and Damian Lewis, but Damian Lewis is playing out of position, so not even him really. Like Damian Lewis, he gets beat a few times in this game, but he should be playing right guard, period. So, Gerald Everett played a good game. I think Metcalf, he missed a couple of decent opportunities, but for the most part, I think he played well. Penny and Dallas gave us at least a competent running game. I can't ask for much more than from them. So, yeah, that's basically where I am. This team did play well enough to win, and they didn't because the league wanted the Rams to win. And I feel the same way I felt before this game. Get them all out of here. Let's hit the reset button on this. So we're going to go ahead and start taking some comments, but the chat is going to be moving really quickly tonight. So I'm going to state the rules here. I plan to stream until about 10 o'clock, so we're going to go like an hour and a half. I will reply to as many comments as I can. Although I will not be able to get to all of them because of how fast the chat's going to be moving. If you have a comment you really want me to see and address, send it in as a super chat, and then I'm guaranteed to see it and reply to it. And channel members are somewhat more likely to have their comment responded to. By the way, guys, we need one more channel member. One more channel member to get to another emoji. So if you've been thinking about becoming a channel member, then now would be a pretty good time to do it. All right, let's see here. On a scale from 1 to 10, how pissed off are you? I'm like a 6. I'm not that pissed off because we're not good, but that was crap. Russell Wilson is washed. I don't know if he's washed, but I can't be messing around with a quarterback like this. I can't be messing around with a quarterback like this for $35 million who I just don't trust him anymore. Nolan Stout, thank you for the $1.99 monetary therapy. Yeah, I need it. I need it, guys. I need it. James Watson, welcome to the channel. Monetary therapy sounds good to me. Yeah, this was a game where we needed Russell to be great, and he was maybe average. Yeah, Jake. I was actually really impressed by us running the ball. It's Russ's first year missing any games due to... Okay, Berna2883, we haven't won anything worth a damn in like, what now, 7 years. We have not won anything in 7 years. Like 3 playoff wins, no conference championship appearances. This is not 1 year. This is 7 years of not winning. Jesse Lund, thank you for the $5. Over, under on us getting rid of Pete and keeping Russ. I'm dubious on that right now, Jesse. I'm dubious. Berna, a majority of the league has moved on from franchise, from their quarterbacks, their coaches, their etc. They don't just keep running back the same stuff over and over again when they don't have success. Yeah, OMS. The defense, look, the defense played great. Ray Melendez, right now, I think that's the only reasonable assumption that can be made. I mean, Tracy's baby. Was Pete Carroll the guy who underthrew Metcalf by 15 yards on what could have been a game-time touchdown? Was Pete the guy who threw up a bunch of prayer balls into double coverage on third and manageable? Was Pete Carroll the guy who held onto the ball for 10 seconds in the pocket to get sacked? Like, no. You need to be willing. You know, some people try to reduce these things to such simple solutions, like everything is this guy's fault. Everything is that guy's fault. It's never that simple. Yeah, Pete needs to go, but if you watch this game tonight, and didn't come away thinking, I don't know about this Wilson guy, I don't know, then I don't think you're as invested as a fan as you should be. Or you're not a fan of the team as much as you should be. You think this whole team orbits around one player or one coach. Yeah, Curhan was legit. If he actually pans out, thank you, Benjamin Brooks. If Curhan actually develops well, then that makes our job this offseason a little bit easier. Dante King, we got to see more. Got to see more, but we're headed in that direction. Tracy's baby, stop typing in all caps. Carroll doing all these bad things does not excuse Wilson from doing bad things. He does not get a free pass to do bad stuff just because other people are also doing bad stuff. Yeah, Jordan Brooks played a tough game today. Credit to him. Well, maybe Nathan W. I don't know. I mean, what is Wilson's greatest trait as a player? His deep ball. And today he couldn't hit a deep ball for anything. He had a deep ball to tie the game, and he underthrew him by 15 yards. Like, what the hell? Yeah, he's got nothing to complain about with his offensive line tonight. The offensive line played great. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. We got some Wilson Simps in the chat. Yeah, I I'm used to it, but I don't have time for it. No problem. I understand, Marcus. Look, you can say it was only because they were playing against some backups. The defense played well enough to win a game tonight. And they lost because of the refs and because Wilson came up short, small in a big moment. I saw this. Look, guys, I've known Cowboys fans on YouTube. Okay, and I've seen the exact same thing with Tony Romo. They loved Romo. They didn't want to get rid of him. They wanted to believe that he was the greatest. They believed that he was amazing. And no matter how many times the Cowboys just had a mediocre season, they wouldn't be convinced that, hey, we need to blow this up. We need to actually do a rebuild. All right, so I've seen this before. Time is a flat circle. Now us Seahawks fans are doing the same thing with Wilson. The only difference is Wilson has won a Super Bowl. But over the last 7 years, haven't won anything. I wonder if the Giants will give up their 2 first-round picks for Wilson. Oh, of course they will. The Giants are the worst organization in sports. They would kill for a chance to have a franchise quarterback. Yeah. Eli Manning, like Giants fans who were just obsessed with Eli Manning, and they didn't want to say anything bad about him. They always wanted him to be there. They didn't understand it was time to move on. Yeah, Daryl Taylor played pretty good. Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback for an offense that cannot score. We've had two pretty good games out of the last five. And one of those games, most of our production came on a fake punt. He's got to own that. It cannot be that a quarterback is playing amazing and perfect and doing everything right and the team isn't producing because everyone else is messing everything up. That doesn't happen. Quarterbacks have a inordinate amount of control over whether or not their offenses have success. So if this offense is not having success, Wilson's got to own that. Yeah, Marcus. I honestly think the Jamal Adams trade by itself is enough to get Carroll out of here. I'm just tired of Wilson not playing at all. We see Aaron Rodgers and talk about Brady playing better than him at a high level for less money. Cut Wilson. Yeah, I mean, I've been over it for a while. Yeah, we have to keep Jamal, and in a different defense, Jamal could be amazing. I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Jamal isn't an elite player. Yeah, well, Amari, I've always thought that. I've been open to the possibility, but when I see Wilson playing like this, I start to become less open to the possibility. I start to be like, wait, what are we keeping him for? Yeah, Jamal and Tyler are stuck. Jamal's coverage is not trash. Let me be very clear about that. Jamal's coverage is not trash. Yeah, I think DK is getting sick of Wilson. It's hard to know, but I think it's very possible. Jamal has 2 interceptions this year, more than all of our cornerbacks combined. Like Wilson's sacks that he took tonight, he on all of them he held onto the ball for 18 years. What do you think is going to happen? Okay? Guys like Brady and Rodgers, they know how to get the ball out quickly. Oh, Diggs is a safety though, Marcus. I'm talking about the corners. Zaknyfein, I've already laid out the plan. I've already laid out the plan. You punt on 2022 and then in 2023 you find a quarterback and then you go from there. Um I think you could go either way, Tommy. I would rather keep DK, but I could you could go either way. Okay, Emmett. What do you think is going to happen this offseason? I don't know, man. God, I don't know. It could go so many different ways. I'd like to believe Pete's going to retire and just do the honorable thing, but I don't know if he will. Yeah, bless you one's fine. Okay, I'm going to humor this idiotic question for 1 second here. Tom Brady has played great for most of the season. He is putting up MVP caliber numbers. He might win MVP. He has a chance to win MVP. His team is winning way more games than they're losing. He can afford to have a bad game. That happens. Everybody has bad games. Wilson has had many bad games recently, and this was a game with your season on the line. Last chance to try to make something of this. And garbage. Garbage. Okay, K. Ruiz though, is he going to learn that though? You guys got to remember he's young. And he has a lot of good stuff in front of him. What do you mean Wilson can afford to have a bad season? How can Wilson afford to have a bad season? Is he going to give his money back? Is he going to give us $35 million back and be like, "Yeah, okay. I had a bad okay. Okay, you don't have to pay me because I'm bad this year." See, this is what I'm talking about. Some of these people, they are not really Seahawks fans. They are Russell Wilson fans. They care more about Wilson than the team. This is what I talk about sometimes. You can tell by the way they talk about things. How many MVPs has Wilson won? How many MVP votes has he gotten? He's won 1 Super Bowl. You guys act like you think he's Tom Brady with 6 Super Bowls and 3 MVPs. No, Jake. I want a good... look, if Wilson plays like an elite quarterback, he can get paid whatever he wants to. I don't care. If he starts playing bad, my thought is not he needs to take less money so he can continue to play bad. He needs to get off the team. I don't want a bad quarterback. I don't care what we're paying him. Yeah. Yeah, is he going to send me some of that money because I had to watch him play like butt cheeks this year? Okay, Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl, but he goes to the NFC title game all the time. He's been to the NFC title game 2 years in a row. He's made deep runs. He's had really good seasons. Wilson has not had one of those in a long time. If we had made the NFC title game or made the Super Bowl last year, then I wouldn't really be saying anything. I'd be like, okay, stuff happens, people got hurt, blah, blah, blah. But we haven't made a serious run in years. OMS, it depends on who you sign. No, Patrick, I'm not saying that you're not a Seahawks fan because you want to keep Russ. My point is, some of these people prioritize Wilson over the whole team. Wilson has a bad game in a big moment, and you don't care because it doesn't really matter to these people if the Seahawks are good or bad. What really matters is that Wilson is on the team. To them, they've already won. To them, having Wilson is worth more than winning games. That's the only way I can put it. And look, maybe we could have gone a different way 4 years ago. Maybe we could have done things differently 4 years ago if we had hired a better offensive coordinator than Schottenheimer. But we can't go back in time and change that now. Hey, welcome to the channel. You guys are way too attached. You guys are way too attached to a quarterback who has never gotten an MVP vote and has won 1 Super Bowl with one of the greatest defenses in NFL history. and has won 3 playoff games the last 7 years. I know he's the best quarterback we've ever had, but that doesn't mean he belongs in the conversation with these guys who have won MVPs, multiple Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVPs, guys like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, who were the reason why their teams won the Super Bowl. Hi, Top Jordan. Welcome to the channel. Yes. Yes, Wilson has been bad on third down his whole career. 3 different offensive coordinators, he cannot convert on third down consistently. Don't you dare try to tell me it's Waldron's fault or Schottenheimer's fault or Bevel's fault when it happened under all 3. By the way, we got 172 people in here right now. We usually don't get a turnout this big. Thank you everybody for being here, even the people who don't appreciate what I have to say. Thank you for coming out. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month to gain access to perks. And any donations you send in as super chats will show up in the tip jar to my left and are appreciated in helping keep this channel going. It's so hard to find a QB. Well, teams do it all the time. Chargers found Herbert. Cowboys found Dak. Once upon a time, the Packers found Rodgers. What are we supposed to do? Keep Wilson until he's 68 years old because it's hard to find another quarterback? Yeah, maybe it's Carroll's fault. Okay, but at the same time, Carroll's not the one who's out there throwing shot plays on third down and manageable. Um, I don't think I did Team 24. I'm not aware of that. Like, some of you guys are just a little too attached to a quarterback who is he's been great. He's done a lot of great things. But you're way too attached to a quarterback who has never gotten an MVP vote and won 1 Super Bowl with one of the greatest defenses of all time. It would be a little more understandable. Yeah, Berna, I would rather be the Jets or the Browns. At least they bottom out. At least they bottom out and get top picks. At least they bottom out and can get elite players in the draft and have a chance to build something special. We're stuck in the middle. Even this year, we're probably going to end up stuck in the middle. We might end up winning like 6 or 7 games and just be like, we weren't that bad. Yeah, Wilson's been carrying this team for the last 5 or 6 years. But we haven't won anything during that time. No rings, no deep playoff runs, nothing to brag about. Hey, Asher. Russell Wilson could have sat that Super Bowl out and we would have won. We could have literally run Wildcat with Marshawn Lynch the whole game and we still would have won. Well, Berna, if you use those top picks correctly, then yeah, you can. You think the Browns would be having at least modest success right now um if they didn't draft Myles Garrett with their top pick? You think there haven't been teams over the years that have utilized top 5 picks into pieces that eventually help them win a Super Bowl? Look, again, things maybe things could have been different if 3 or 4 years ago you hired a better offensive coordinator, somebody who wasn't a dead end like Schottenheimer, but you can't go back in time. You can't go back in time and undo that. Now it's probably too late. So I'm trying to figure this out. I'm just trying to figure this out. And not only is it really hard to rebuild around Wilson, even if you do manage to pull it off quickly, what if you do all that and then you find out, oh, this guy's not that good anymore? Wilson's just one player. I mean, I grew up watching another Seahawks great who actually did win an MVP, who actually was the best player at his position at one point, leave at one point, and we continued to stick around. We continued to be fine. We took a couple of bad years, and then we were back on top again. There is life after any great player. Yeah, the Bengals might make the playoffs this year. They used a top pick on guys like Joe Burrow. They used top picks on Jamar Chase. Now look at them. Yeah. Once upon a time, you could have said the same thing about Sean Alexander. Oh, if we lose Sean Alexander, the franchise is over. No. Every quarterback you mentioned earlier has had a down season. Well, a lot of those quarterbacks had stronger peaks. Yeah, bad seasons happen, but if Wilson was some guy who had won like 4 Super Bowls and won 3 MVPs or something like that, I might go, okay, I don't know if I want to let this go. But we're talking about a guy who is a low tier future Hall of Famer. Okay, we're not talking about one of the greatest of all time. Um, I don't want Deshaun Watson. He's not going to be allowed to play football again. Who knows, WWDB? He can't he can't stop himself. He can't stop himself from taking those shot plays. He just wants to get it all on one play over and over and over again. I'm tired of it, man. I thought I saw some signs of positivity against the Niners, but this was a huge game and he came up short. So you guys got to also realize something. This isn't like baseball where a player can have a few bad games and it doesn't matter. Okay? The average NFL career only consists of like, even if you have a long career, what, 150, 200 games? Even a good NFL career, you're probably going to be playing, I don't know, probably less than 200 games. A few bad games is a big deal when your career is only going to be probably 200 or so games. In baseball, you can have a few bad games. It's such a small part of your career. Who cares? Yeah, maybe Mike B. That's very possible, but we can't undo that now. We got to live with it. Yeah, yeah, Zach. Can't complete a pass in the middle of the field. Really struggles to do it sometimes. Maybe we'll suck. Maybe we'll suck without Wilson for a little bit, but right now we suck with him, so whatever. This defense is probably going to end up in the top 5 in scoring in points allowed. All right? Like they're not perfect, but when a elite quarterback has a top 5 defense backing him up, he should be able to win more than he loses, and that's not going to happen. Okay? I think DK would resign, but mostly because he just wants the money. But we'll see. I don't know, Charisma. I don't think he wants out. You can argue that he's getting sick of Russ, but that's hard to know. Tracy, the defense definitely does not suck. The defense does not suck. The defense is way better than the offense. And I'm not in love with this defense. They still do stupid stuff, but they balled out tonight. And overall this season, they've done everything they can. Yeah, I know we got screwed, Keenan, but I can't do anything about that. This team can't do anything about that. What the team can do something about is getting some of these pieces that are not helping anymore out. See, Tracy, that's what I'm talking about. You talk down everyone else except Wilson so Wilson can look better. We act like. Do you think Aaron Rodgers wouldn't kill to have a DK Metcalf on his team? You think he wouldn't love to have multiple good options at receiver? I think that if you removed the connection that these players have because of familiarity, Aaron Rodgers would rather have Wilson's receivers than his own receivers. I think so. I think he'd rather have Lockett and Metcalf than Adams and Poop. Yeah, that's the other thing. Wilson doesn't have what it takes to beat the Sean McVay Rams. Can we have that conversation? Yeah, that's another thing, guys. The Rams' defense is not good. The Rams' defense is not good. They're okay. You should be able to put up points on them. Can't do it. Well, Jovan, at least he's making it to NFC Championship games. I would take an NFC Championship game. If Wilson could take me to the NFC Championship game one of these years, I would probably chill out on the complaining. Okay, Carroll's a problem. Look, guys, Carroll's a problem, but we got to give him a little bit of credit right now. He's got this defense playing really well. This defense is top 5 in points allowed. This defense is doing a great job preventing other teams from scoring. And they're doing it despite the fact that all the offense can do is punt half the game. Like, what else do you want? Wilson should buy every single player on that defense dinner for the rest of the year. Or hell, next year. Yeah, exactly. We have no pass rush, and they're still holding it together. Okay, Wandering Spirit, what is Waldron supposed to do when his quarterback can't complete a pass? Like, what is Waldron supposed to do? That's what I don't understand, the people who are all anti-Waldron. We have no running backs. The offensive line is slow when we know that his offense probably needs, like, mobile guys who can play in space. His quarterback is inconsistent. He played 3 games with Geno, 3 games with Wilson with a finger that didn't work. Like, What is he supposed to do here? Remember, we're still using a lot of the Schottenheimer playbook. We're still using a lot of the old playbook because we didn't have time to implement the whole thing this year. Okay? There's a lot of things working against Waldron. Obviously, things are not going great with him, but I'm looking at these players more than I am Waldron. They already fired the last guy. Now I see the same problems that got the last guy fired. I'm like, maybe it wasn't that guy. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it. Thank you, Marcus. What has Waldron actually done? Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it hasn't been very good. What I'm saying is that he is working with a massive degree of difficulty right now, okay? Massive degree of difficulty. Look at what he's had at quarterback this year. Look at what he's had at running back. The whole running back room's all messed up. Offensive line, he inherited almost all these players. The only players on this team that he did not inherit are Gerald Everett, Gabe Jackson, and Dwayne Eskridge. And Dwayne Eskridge has been hurt most of the year. To me, when I look at a lot of the people to me who are blaming this on Waldron, to me, the people who blame this stuff on Waldron are people who really, really don't want to can't bring themselves to say anything bad about Wilson. Because to me, you got the coach out last year. You got the coaches out. You got the coach out last year. You brought in a new one. The problems continue. So now I'm like, okay, I guess that wasn't the problem. Let's look at elsewhere for the problem. Pete, Russ, one of those two is probably got to be the guy. So, look, Carroll's a bigger problem than Wilson. If we trade Russ, where do you think he will go to? Because I think he's going to go. Um, Denver kind of makes sense to me. Oh, and by the way, also with Waldron, remember he has Pete Carroll over his shoulder, one of the biggest control freaks in the NFL. I mean, Carroll is the bigger problem here, but right now I'm looking at a quarterback in Wilson who, I mean, something's not right. I mean, you got to change something. Honestly, this year, you could make an argument. I don't know if I would. You could make the argument that Wilson's been a bigger problem than Carroll. At least Carroll's got his defense playing at an elite level. Yeah, Wrestle Mark Q. That's what I'm saying. If you're a Seahawks fan, if you are a Seahawks fan, you should be watching these things and changing your point of view based off what you see. But some of these people, they've decided that Russell Wilson is good, and nothing moves them off of that. Like in their mind, he's good, and anything that makes him look bad has to be somebody else's fault because you've already made the predetermination that Wilson has to be good. That's not how this stuff works. Once upon a time, I thought that Dwayne Brown was good, but now Dwayne Brown's bad. I'm not going to say that, no, Dwayne Brown's good, it's somebody else's fault. No. I'm going to say, okay, he's not good anymore. Maybe he was good and he's not now. Yeah, the Patriots are a great example too, K. Ruiz. Oh, Wilson still has trade value. Teams are desperate for franchise quarterbacks. Uh, and Stout, thank you for the 4.99. Appreciate the support. And Stout, don't think I've ever seen you in here before, but welcome. Yeah, Wagner needs to go. Where would you put Wilson in an overall QB list? I don't know. I'd have to take a look at a list here. Has Wilson kept the ball in a single read option this season? I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but why can't you keep it on one of those plays? One of those plays. Hey, Kyle. Why do we pay Bobby? Well, Bobby is good. I'm not going to kill Bobby, but he's not worth 20 million, and we have other needs that we need to focus our funds on. Bobby got to go. Too much money. Oh, the Eagles won tonight. So the Eagles might make the playoffs. Okay. Like, I'm watching some of these plays tonight, and I'm just thinking to myself, how can you at least not get the ball out of your hands? How do you at least not throw it away? Okay, I can live with a throwaway. By the way, Bobby only had 6 tackles tonight, so he's well off pace for the record. I mean, Waldron might go after this season, and I'm fine with that because we're going to have a whole new coaching staff, hopefully, but I don't think Waldron's bad. I think that you got to let guys. I think you got to let these guys develop. I think letting go of a coach after 1 year is a bad practice. And assuming that he just can't do it is a bad idea. But he will probably go because if Carroll goes, then he kind of goes too. Yeah, Brooks had a great game. I was happy about that. Shout out to him. Percentage odds of Pete being back next year? I don't know, 35%. Yeah, the Berg Show. That's what I'm saying. Some of these people need to do. Watch the game and feel the emotions that you should feel as a fan of the team. If the team is losing, if the team is underperforming, you should be able to get mad at the players who are responsible for that. What's wrong with that? Yeah, Freddie Swain sucks, although he did actually make one good play tonight. Yeah, I feel bad for Waldron, honestly. Comes from that McVay system and has a quarterback who plays like, I don't know, Joe Flacco. If you were John Schneider, what is the first executive move you would make? I would resign. Yeah, Matthew, I think a decent quarterback wins this game. Sam Kirk, not that consistent. He can't look. He can't draft. We haven't had a good draft in 7 years. Our drafts are garbage. We've had like 2 passable drafts. Mafuz, I would not keep Waldron if you get a new head coach. Because you got to let the new head coach pick his guys. You can't force him to inherit anything. Would this game be different if Tyler Lockett played? Possibly, but look, the fact that Lockett isn't out there just means that you need your $35 million quarterback to play balls to the wall. Okay, Jovan Turner. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, made the Super Bowl last year. He has way more freedom to have a couple of off moments than a guy like Wilson who hasn't won anything in 7 years. Hasn't made a deep run in 7 years. And even, guys, that's not even getting into the fact that, like, it is still possible that Wilson, like I know we kind of all blew this stuff off at the time because he sounded bitter, but what if Richard Sherman was right about Wilson, about how people don't like him? Because we're seeing signs of that starting up again. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Look how Aaron played without Devontae and still won. Yeah. I mean, Dak Prescott has played games without Cooper, without CD, without Gallup this year, without Blake Jarwin, and still had decent production. What did Sher? Well, Jovan Turner, if Wilson had made two straight Super Bowls and then had a not so great year, I would be a little more forgiving of that. But he's an older player. He's gonna. I mean, at this point, he's probably only going to continue his slide. Is it possible we don't change anything at all? It's always possible, Herman, but I don't see how anyone could defend that. Mari Taylor, that was all Sherman had to say after he left. All he did was like trash talk Carroll, trash talk Sherman. You don't remember? When Sherman left, he was like, yeah, everybody in the organization just treats Russell Wilson like he's a little baby. You can't say anything bad about him. He gets special treatment. And the players don't like him because of it. Da da da. It's like this some Saving Private Ryan crap. No ADL because the LOB was getting older and Wilson was still young, and it made more sense at the time to go with the quarterback. But now that we're here and the quarterback's actually a little older, and it's probably just all downhill from here. Like this wasn't just one game, guys. This was a big game. This was last chance to try to save the season. So Wilson not playing good in this game is a much bigger deal than him not playing good in week 5 against the Rams. Like that was a somewhat crucial game, but this game was last chance to save the season. And he didn't get it done. That should bother you as a fan. It should bother you that the $35 million quarterback didn't show up on a day when the defense that was shorthanded found a way to play well enough to win. Trade for Justin Fields. I don't know what to think of Justin Fields, to be honest. There's some talent there, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I mean, if Wilson is as good as some people think that he is, he shouldn't need all these amazing things around him. Oh, he needs, 3 amazing receivers, an amazing tight end, an amazing running game, amazing offense. You're not going to get all that stuff. That's not realistic. How are you going to do that with him on his salary? I mean, DK was getting open the whole game. Rodgers does not have all that stuff, I see. Are you insane? He has like one good receiver. His tight end is decent. Ugh. We would be Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers at QB. I can believe it. If he didn't get hurt, especially. I mean, Wilson only really played one great game, and in that game, our offense was still like our offense was still like da 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 da. It is not that great. Your take on Joe Burrow? He's great. What did you think about Russ's massive underthrown ball to Metcalf? He's got to make that play. If he was a second year or third year quarterback, I would just say, he missed it, whatever. Well, let's see how this develops, but I'm really can't have it. Yeah, sometimes he looks like a rookie out there, Joseph. I swear some rookies have better pocket presence. Berna, that's definitely not even close to being true. Our offensive line was only atrocious when we had Tom Cable. Those last couple years of Tom Cable, those were the years we had a really bad line. Ever since we got Solari in here, the line has been overall average or better. Yeah, the offensive line was good tonight. Way better than they should have been. Way better than they should have been. Jake Curhan held up in pass protection. Daniel Barber, somebody will be. I mean, Carson Wentz had the worst season ever last year, and he still got a first round pick. Maybe Liam Cassidy. Yeah, Eskridge almost made that catch, but it was a throw into double coverage. I mean, I would rather get somebody like Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones if we're going to suck next year. But, Garoppolo, that's kind of the idea, right? You get somebody who's just whatever. That's possible, Jake, but if that happens, I think that's terrible because it means that they got their scapegoat. Minshew would be okay, Kevo. I don't hate that. Willie Dang, I've been on the trade Wilson thing for a while. The thing is, most of the time when I talk about trading Wilson, it doesn't really have that much to do with Wilson as a player. It has to do with the situation of this team and this roster, okay? You guys got to understand that. All right? It's games like tonight that make me feel like Wilson might be part of the problem too, but that's not the reason why I think we need to trade Wilson. The reason why I think we need to trade Wilson is because even if he is great, we clearly don't have the team to support him because we can't get anywhere with him. We haven't made a deep run in 7 years. How often do you see a supposed top three quarterback not make at least one deep run over a 7 year span? Usually they break through at some point. I'm not even talking about Super Bowls here. I just want to make a push and be among the teams that are contending. Yeah, I don't like this QB class that much. Jovan, most games in the NFL are close. That is an excuse. That is an excuse that I have no time for. Okay? Most games in the NFL are close. Being able to win close games is a skill. The elite quarterbacks win, like the elite of the elite quarterbacks win a high percentage of those close games because they can get it done. They can get it done at the end of games when they have an extra down and they know they need to get something going. He might want out Reginald. We'll find out this offseason. We'll see what he says. Wilson's not going to sit. And I don't know if I even really want him to sit that much. I kind of would rather see what we got. I mean, we may as well keep playing him, build his trade value against bad teams, and maybe he'll do something crazy over the next 3 games that makes us at least have more options. And a lot of these close games, why are they close? Because the offense sucks. A lot of these games are close because the offense cannot score. Okay? The Saints game. Now, that was with Geno, so whatever. Offense can't really do anything. Packers. We hung around until the fourth quarter. Offense couldn't score a point. These games being close, if anything, just makes Wilson look worse because it's the defense that is keeping these games close. Defense has played like 2 bad games all years. I don't think Wilson had any rushing yards today. Yeah, I don't know, Andrew. Defense has played mostly well this season. Yeah, Dunlap showed up. No, I actually think the defense played bad against the Cardinals. I think that game was a joke. I don't think the defense played that bad against the Titans. The offense needed to pick up some first downs at the end of the game. Like, I can't even get that mad at the defense for that game. I really can't. Yeah, DJ played all right. DJ did his thing. I like DJ. Yeah, now he's like easy to sack, dude. Remember those games? I mean, I know this was a long time ago. Remember 2015 against the Lions? All the sacks he evaded? Look, bottom line is tonight the Seahawks played a better team on the road, and the team played well enough to win, and 2 things happened. They got screwed by the refs, and Wilson sucked. Now, get mad at the refs if you want to. I get mad at the refs too, especially after that crap. But if you do not look at that and get mad at Wilson, then I, I don't know what to say other than that you are more of a Wilson fan than a Seahawks fan. I don't know any other way to put it. Now, you might not come to the same conclusion that I came to. You might look at that and go, well, okay, it sucked. It was a bad game. It's not okay, but he'll be better. I think that he'll be fine. But if you look at this and just shrug it off like it's no big deal, then I don't know what to say about it other than I don't think you're looking at the right things. Yeah, Reginald, that's probably part of it. Yeah, that's another thing. This defense holds up even though the offense never gives them a break. Pretty much. Never gives them a break. Yeah, no problem, Reginald. All right, we got 44 likes on this video right now, it looks like. So if you haven't liked yet, please take half a second to do so. Helps the channel. We'll be going for another 20 minutes here, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'll probably jump on Persona a little later. But I just wanted to vent. Do you think we can develop Jacob Eason? No, I don't believe in Eason. I don't think he likes football enough. Well, yeah, Brooks should not be on Cup. Brooks played a hell of a game. You can't put him in that position. Yeah, I don't think Hurts is good, but we can kick the tires on him and see what's up. Well, Andrew, what else would he say? Is he going to say, no, I hate it here? No. Yeah, T1, I think that's mostly because the pass rush is not very good. That is a concern, but the defense is playing well enough for us to win, and the offense is not supporting us. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. Exactly, Tommy. Yeah, Bobby got picked on a little bit in coverage because he's old. I'm not mad at Bobby for being old. Like, that is what it is. The problem is we're putting him in that shitty position. Herman the Great, upgrading your membership to Elite. Welcome to the Elite Club, Herman the Great. Appreciate the support. Welcome. Yeah, I know, Kyle. Ain't that true? Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Maybe, maybe Wilson is telling the truth, but it doesn't matter. You can't assume that what he says is what he means. I have zero interest in blowing this season off as a fluke, by the way. I know some people in the chat are trying to say, oh, it's just bad luck. It's one bad year. No, I'm not interested in blaming this on other forces. Like, maybe a couple of things. Like, yeah, okay, Wilson got hurt. That hurt us. The refs screwed us tonight. That hurt us. But what about the things that we can control? What about these things that we could control, like having a quarterback that can find an open receiver and hit him? What about not investing money in a bunch of injury-prone running backs? What about not using void year contracts to save money and then not using the money you save, so it's all a complete waste of time? Like, explain all this to me. These are things we did to ourselves. Yeah, Tommy, I'm just looking for one deep run. Okay? I don't need I'm not one of these fans who is like you have to win the Super Bowl every year or you fire everybody. But you do have to give me something to be proud of at some point. And this team has won 3 playoff games over the last 7 years. One of those games was bullcrap, the Vikings game, and another one was against Josh McCown and the Eagles practice squad. We have one good playoff win over the last 7 years, and it was against the Detroit Lions. That was our one genuine playoff win over the last 7 years. The Browns have won one set playoff game over the last 7 years. Okay, Ruiz, it seems like it gets stripped down every week. I think I don't know what it is. It feels like Wilson just reverts to doing the old Schottenheimer stuff at some point. Well, K Vizons, that's a small sample size. I'm not tripping on that. But again, to me, the bottom line is no deep runs in the last 7 years. How many teams in NFL history have stuck with the same head coach, quarterback, and general manager for 7 straight years of not making a deep run? I would say maybe never. At some point, you change something. At some point, you say, this is not working. Let's get something else. New GM, new quarterback, new coach. One of those 3 things goes. So it's time. Why do we think that this core can be the core that breaks through? Okay, yeah, Jovan, of course I remember that. That was awful. What's your point? We still lost that game. Yeah, SB0116. McCarthy's not a bad coach, but they decided we want to do better. What about Tomlin and Peyton? Well, the Steelers have made one NFC title game that I know of in the last 10 years. I don't know if they ever went 6 years, 7 straight years without ever making it to one. And the Saints made the NFC title game 2 years recently. I don't know how long they went between trips. And by the way, whether or not those teams made a good decision is questionable, right? It's a little questionable because those teams never won a Super Bowl. Maybe Kivo. It depends on how the Panthers feel about Darnold because they did just trade a bunch of stuff for Darnold. Maybe they want to give him a chance. I don't know. Well, Charisma, Wilson is a future Hall of Famer. That does not mean you have to stick with him until he dies. Wilson will make the Hall of Fame one day. That's fine. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is is he going to be elite going forward for the next few years? You have to feel very confident the answer to that question is yes. And if the answer is yes, you then have to say, okay, can we build a team fast enough around him? I think the answer is not with this regime. And even a new regime is going to have a hard time doing it. Wilson will get into the Hall of Fame, but his career, what he is as a player, has way more in common with. It has way more in common with a guy like a Ben Roethlisberger or a Phillip Rivers or one of those guys than it does a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or a Peyton Manning. Like he's on that level, and guys like Ben Roethlisberger are going to make the Hall of Fame, so Wilson should too. But we wanted Wilson to get to the Brady and Manning level, but he didn't get there. I'm sorry, guys. I know in your head he was headed that way, didn't quite happen. I would want at least 2 first rounders and plus more, but probably closer to like 3. But we'll see what the market is like this offseason. Packers stuck with Aaron because at least he had won 2 MVPs. You were holding on to something that was a little more fruitful if it paid off. Yeah, Lockett's stuck here, guys. We can't move on from Lockett. Yeah, I forgot about the extension. Yeah, Giants have the picks. Yeah. And by the way, the whole Mahomes thing is actually kind of irrelevant because Mahomes has unless are you talking about the Mahomes extension? Mahomes just got paid a ridiculous amount of money. They can't really move off of him. We are in a state where we could move off of Wilson because the money actually makes it feasible. So even if Mahomes is starting to put up these red flags or whatever, they can't really do anything about it. And I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I don't really care what they do. I'm thinking about this team. Has Wilson ever had I think Wilson's had one top 5 offense in his career, by the way. There's no metric you can really point to that I can think of. Like we've never. I think we've had one top 5 offense and it was fourth or something. So never a top 3 offense. No MVP votes. One Super Bowl title. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing the angle you can come at this from that tells you that Wilson is as good as some people want to pretend. No, I don't want Brown back. Brown is a problem. Brown is a problemo. Keep Quandre. I don't really want to pay our safeties that much money, but Quandre is good, so I'm really torn on that one. Ayush, we might keep Dunlap just because of the money. I don't think so, Andrew. Yeah, well, right now Mahomes is better than Wilson. Of course he is. I think so anyway. We thought Mahomes was going to have. I'm sorry, not Mahomes. We thought Brown had one good year left in him. He doesn't. We were wrong. But he was great last year, so it was a reasonable bet. Curhan played really well, Ayush. The offensive line in general played fine. And also, look at the way the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Every game, they fell behind, and then Mahomes led the charge to a victory. Okay, that wasn't what we had to do when we won the Super Bowl. We were most of the time playing from a position of strength, a position where we had the lead, where we could run the ball a lot, and it was cool. No, I think Penny's out of here. And Mahomes won an MVP a few years ago. He won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff to lead the team back over and over and over again in the playoffs. And then he went 14-2 and made the Super Bowl again last year. I am far more likely to give Mahomes the benefit of the doubt compared to Wilson, who hasn't done anything in 7 years in terms of actually winning a big award or making that deep run. And Mahomes is young, too. Yeah, that's actually another good point I see. Yeah, Penny got hurt at one point. Yeah, I don't think Carson's coming back. I agree, Andrew. Carson's not going to play again. I think his career is over. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't want him out there and to get paralyzed. Of course not, Edwin. He's already peaked. He's already peaked. Wilson had his chance at MVP in 2019, and he played too many bad games down the stretch, and Lamar was able to steal it from him. So I can't say anything about that other than he got a little unlucky. He did have a great year that year. He was a very valid second place finisher, but it didn't happen. Yeah, Jovan, MVP is a big deal. MVP is a big deal. What better defines you as a player than how good you were at your peak? What better defines you than how dominant you were at your best? Yeah, I like ribs, Kyle. They're great. Yeah, yeah. I know Wilson cares, but he's not doing a great job of showing it right now. I will admit. It's irritating. But that's the least of our problems. Yeah, Wilson's done great things, but it seems like he's peaked. Mahomes has already made more conference title games than Wilson has in his whole career, by the way. Mahomes has made at least the NFC conference title game every year he's been a starter, I think. Right? Because he was a part-time starter in 2017. Yeah, DK was owning Ramsey tonight and Wilson couldn't get him the damn ball. Yeah, Drew Brees is probably the greatest counting stat quarterback of all time. Well, maybe Brady's past him now in that regard. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Yeah, I know food is life. He had him. That was the play. Yeah, Mahomes has 3 conference title game appearances. Wilson has 2. So, lot going in his favor too. Now, don't get me wrong. Mahomes has Andy Reid. That helps a lot. But I don't think it's enough to. I don't know if it's enough to justify what we're seeing right now. And either way, we're not talking about what Wilson has done in the past. The only thing that matters right now is what is he going to do going forward. And looking at it right now, I am dubious that he's going to be able to play at a super high level going forward. And even if he can we build around it fast enough? It's a tall ask, and some of you guys I don't think you understand how hard it will be to build a contender from this garbage that quickly. Yeah, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl with no running backs. Nobody on that team had more than 500 rushing yards. Nobody on the Chiefs the year they won the Super Bowl had more than 500 rushing yards. And they still did all the way. If Wilson moves on, will Pete keep Waldron? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I've talked about that a little before. I would guess probably at that point you could bring in somebody like Kirby Wilson or Adam Gase, somebody who's a little more Pete Carroll's speed, so he might take the opportunity to do that. Okay, well, I see. Technically, Wilson has a Hall of Fame coach too. I know it's different, but let me be clear about that. Carroll will make the Hall of Fame. Jovan, did you even watch the Super Bowl? Mahomes was doing everything he could to try to keep that game alive despite getting killed by pressure. What does Wilson do when he gets pressured these days? He falls down. He just turtles up. You don't see him escaping sacks the way that Mahomes was in that game. Did you see Mahomes running around in that game, making that crazy throw when he's basically horizontal? Wilson doesn't do that anymore. Maybe, Andrew. I'm starting to wonder. I don't like where this is going. Yeah, SB. I think that might have been more of a Carroll decision, but we'll never know. Okay, I'm only going to stream for like another 2 or 3 minutes here, so any last minute things you want to get in under the gun, now's the time. I want to thank everybody for coming out, even the people who don't agree with me. That's fine. Thank you, Kyle. I will be back on Persona a little later. So if you want to come by and watch me grind out Margaret's as social link, that's cool. But I am going to be getting out of this stream. I've said all I can say. I mean, guys, it is a bad season. But one thing I do want to say before I go is overall, don't start thinking and acting like we're like Lions fans here, okay? We're not like the Lions who haven't done anything in 25 years or whatever it is, okay? This is just one bad season. Yes, we need to make changes. Yes, we need to blow things up. But some Seahawks fans lately have they act like we've turned into the Lions or something. We're not there yet. Okay? This is a bad season, but let's keep perspective here a little bit. I want change, you want change, we all want change. But let's try to keep a little bit of perspective right now. I think that's actually pretty I mean, it was a good run. Even the things that disappointed me about this run, it was a good run, but it's over. It's over. I want it to be over very badly. All right. See you guys later on. Go Hawks.